Chaz Marler from the... Hello, Chaz Marler from the Pair of Dice Paradise board game podcast here with my continuing coverage of the 2014 GTS Come and Play Day in Seattle. Yeah, that's the one. When I think of Fantasy Flight, I think of games with colossal mounds of cardboard pieces and lengthy, challenging rulebooks. And that's why, when Brian Bornmueller from Fantasy Flight introduced me to their recently released Game of Thrones Westeros Intrigue game, comprised entirely of just a tidy little box of color-coded cards, I was so shocked that I fell off my chair and knocked my head. When I regained consciousness, I was all like, "What happened, Fantasy Flight? Like, this is the opposite of what I usually see from you. Did you fall and knock your head?" Then Brian reminded me that it was me that knocked my head and that I was bleeding pretty bad. Now, instead of going directly to hospital, I went and told him to tell me all about the game. So since I'm starting to feel trouble forming complete sentences coming on, let's go over to Brian from Fantasy Flight, who has a quick demonstration of the Game of Thrones Westeros Intrigue game.
Hey there, I'm Brian from Fantasy Flight Games. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Game of Thrones Westeros Intrigue here. It's a real simple card game designed by Reiner Knizia, and you're building the families of Westeros in this kind of pyramid. So everybody will get dealt about 12 cards, and you're going to play them out on the board. And you can either play them along the bottom row here, which can never have more than 8 cards in it, or you can play them up above 2 other characters, but it's going to have to match the house of one of the characters below it. So I couldn't play Stannis here because he's not a Stark or a Targaryen. And you're going to keep playing cards round and around until you've either can't play any more cards, then whatever cards you have left in your hand are going to be negative points for you. And then once the last person who's able to play does, they're going to get a bonus card, which is going to get them a few negative points to counteract some of those penalty points later on.
Is it already released?
It is already released.
Okay.
Yeah, but very, very recently. It's only been out for a couple of weeks.
And is there any like player abilities or card abilities?
Nope.
Just
super simple.
Super simple. Just the color matching pyramid building.
Yep. Kind of the fun part is kind of in cutting the other guy off, right? Like if you have I don't have any Starks in my hand, so I'm just gonna like block the Starks every time they get played. It's $10. We have lots of kind of long, complicated Game of Thrones games with the Game of Thrones board game and card game, but this is a fast, easy to learn, kind of light card game.
I've lost my stutter.